back to my channel. Today's video, we are coming back around to a topic that I love to talk about, and that is my crazy experiences in the workforce. So I noticed on my Facebook, at least, because my Facebook is very full of conservative people since I grew up in Mississippi, which is one of the most conservative states here in the USA. So I noticed that anytime I post something, you know, it's truth, this is truth talk, okay? I post something about healthcare. Can we all agree it's a huge issue here in the US, okay? I post something about that. I post something about how 44% of jobs in the US are low-paying jobs, and a lot of people can't really afford basic bills working those jobs. And I get so much pushback, and it usually is male conservatives. These people never comment on my posts. They never like my posts. They only jump out of the woodwork whenever I post something that is triggering to their ideology of the American dream, pretty much. So if I'm telling them my experiences, I mean, even my experiences in the workforce, there was one of these guys, I don't even know if I've ever met him in real life. He's like a photographer, because I used to be in the model scene a lot down in the South, and I worked with a lot of photographers, and I had a lot of like photographers to friend me on Facebook who wanted to work with me, and I didn't necessarily work with all of them. And so he keeps coming out of the woodwork, and of course this time he goes on about, man, wow, like it really seems like you alone have experienced a lot of crazy stuff during your employment time. And I'm like, yeah, yes, it has been. And he's like, oh, well, you know, there's one thing that is in all of these scenarios. You must be the problem. You must be the issue. Because I noticed with your post, you're always trying to find a boogeyman. Like, you post about healthcare, you post about wages and people struggling. You're always trying to find someone else to blame. And I'm like, yeah, I see where you might feel like that's what it is. But let me tell you something. Victim blaming, victim shaming someone for speaking their truth, for someone who sees what is going on here in the US and speaks about it, that is not trying to find some boogeyman. That is speaking the truth. Is healthcare here perfect? Are there people out dying in the street or in tents because they can't afford healthcare or because they have been crippled with healthcare debt? Yes, there is. Is there a huge trauma issue going on here in the US because of mental health? Yes, there is. And me talking about that? You have an issue with that? You think that that is me trying to just deflect and blame? If you're taking it that way, then you clearly don't even see, notice, or even care about these actual real issues that are going on. If you look at my post about my experiences in a job, about me not being able to get breaks, lunches, hardly go to the bathroom, being retaliated against because I won't work off the clock, wage theft at multiple jobs, fired whenever I try to talk about why I'm not getting paid, if you see those experiences that I have had and you automatically think, oh, she must be the problem, oh, she must be looking for a boogeyman, then you're the issue. Because there's a lot more that I am saying than I'm trying to find a boogeyman, okay? That's absolutely ridiculous that anybody would see that. And this is why I'm speaking out about it, because I am tired of being shamed. I am tired of me doing everything this society pushed onto me as a millennial. Go to school, work your ass off, work like a dog, night and day, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and just, you know, keep going, like happy thoughts. You know, I've done all of that. I did all of that for 16 years. And I'm tired because you know what it got me? It got me a lot of issues. It got me walked all over like a doormat. It got me fired from multiple jobs and treated like a subhuman piece of garbage. No, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to talk about my life and my experiences I'm going to bring them out into the world. And I'm not going to be victim blamed. I'm not going to be victim shamed because other people were abusing me. No, that is not how this is going to go down. Okay? So yeah, like that person, I was just like, oh my, like I feel like almost blocking and unfriending all of these people who want to jump on my post and sit there and just blame me for illegal tactics and treatment from employers. It's because it is messing up their ideology that they have, and that here in the US you're supposed to be able to work hard, go to school, you know, if you're smart and talented and have skills, then you're supposed to be a millionaire. You know, you're supposed to be able to do all of these things. And when it doesn't necessarily work out that way and someone talks about it, then it really messes with their fragile little egos and how this stuff goes down, because people want to be able to sleep at night and be able to say, that person in that encampment, that tent, that person deserves that. That person does not deserve my love, my compassion. That person got what they deserved. Because they see this everywhere. They see people struggling, they see people suffering, and they want to be able to have a clear conscience to not have to fight for those people, to not have to get out there, put their boots on, and go fight for people who are suffering, fight for people who need healthcare and who need decent jobs and who need affordable housing and food. They don't want to have to mess with that. They're doing fine. They have healthcare. They have a good, decent paying job. So you know what? They have made it. So everyone else needs to just figure it out like they did. That's not how the world works. The world is unfair. But you know what? You can make it fair. You can fight for it to be fair. And a lot of these people who are just living their little life high in the hog, they don't want to have to go make it fair. Maybe it's going to affect them because maybe they're benefiting from this system that has been created to push other people into the ground and lift other people up. Maybe that's it. And you know what? You cannot discredit that where you come from, your childhood, how you are raised, your mentality, all of these things come into play when you become an adult. And how you navigate those spaces, the choices you make, how you look at things. You cannot say that it is all someone's own personal self-failings that they have trauma and they're having issues dealing with it. Or maybe they have ADHD. I have ADHD. I am coming to that conclusion that my brain, my mind is just thinks differently than most of the world. That is why I'm never understood. That is why employers don't understand how I am so highly creative and I have so many creative ideas for the business and what to do. And for some reason, they hate me for my creative ideas. And that's not me like exaggerating or trying to find a boogeyman. I'm just stating facts here. I'm stating facts. When I go to these companies and I work for them, you can see I have lists. I have all these ideas of things that we could do. They are not open to changing. They are not open to actually trying something different and new. They want to keep the status quo. They want to do the same thing they did every single day, even if it's not working. That is the definition of insanity. They don't want change to occur. And I don't know why. And he was like, oh, but you know, firing people and having high turnover, it doesn't make logical sense because you spend more money trying to train people having turnover than if you just kept your employees. I'm like, dude, you're preaching to the choir. I literally say these words to so many employers. Let me know in the comments if you have been experiencing these types of things, because I know I'm not crazy, and I know I'm not the only one who has had these types of issues, and they don't care if it costs more money. They don't look at it that way, especially really small businesses. You're dealing with really small businesses. Those owners, they have this mentality where it's my way or the highway. It is, I am the god of this company, and if you come in and you try to rock this boat because I want you to go do something, you know, I want to treat you differently, like my first job when I came out here to Washington in the construction world, where that male owner, and I was the only female salesperson, where my male coworkers were getting the good leads and the good jobs that were very high ticket, and I was stuck running the little crumbs, and he wants me to also, for that little like piddly hourly pay, go out and try to drum up marketing and business for him, while the male coworkers get spoon-fed all the good things. They don't have to go out and try to drum up their leads. They're handed them. Is that fair? His excuse was, oh, you're a female. Like, the way that I look, my aesthetic is going to be more pleasing for me to go flit around and go talk to corporations and people and try to drum up business because I am an adorable female. I am like sweet and nice and, you know, all of those things. So I have to go do those things for the same pay without commission as my male coworkers. Yeah, no, that's not me looking for a boogeyman. That's actually unfair treatment. So, if you think that way, maybe you need to go actually read some things about this, because I know that there are lots of people here in the US. It doesn't matter if turnover costs more money. They are still being fired left, right, up, down if something happens. That's just the reality here. People who are in positions of power have a power trip. They want you to be their slave. They want you to bow down and worship them. And when you try to say otherwise, it's off with your head. That is how it works. People who make it into positions of power, they are not good people. How did they make it to those positions? How did they get there? They get there by being ruthless, by stepping on other people, and by acting and treating people illegally. At least that has been my experience. I'm sure there are lots of lovely companies out there who treat their employees so well. But you know what? I have not experienced that yet. Maybe sometime in my life I will. Or, better hope here, I'm going to build that type of company, because I know that I have the ambition, the drive, and I for sure have the creative ideas and foresight and vision to make something happen. And I'm going to make sure that the people that work in the company are well treated. I am going to talk to them like they are actual real humans. Imagine that. They are going to be very well treated. I am going to, like Dan Price. I love Dan Price. Literally my last job that I was laid off from, the security job, and he was someone who wanted his company to be so like, he wanted to be in the media and all this stuff. He wanted to get all this attention. He wanted to be the Elon Musk of security. And I told him, like, hey, why don't we try to look at Dan Price? Like, Dan Price is doing a really good job of, like, getting some good PR. And, like, the way that his direction of his company and how he is running it, like, all of these things are really awesome and amazing. And he's like, oh, no, Dan Price is fake. How is he fake? Is he not paying all of his employees a decent, fair wage? How is that fake? What he's doing is actually what he's doing. So it's because he didn't want to actually do that. Because in security, usually the people working there are not like super, super highly qualified people. I mean, I'm in the security group on Facebook, and they're always talking about how it's like the bottom of the barrel, like employment and things like that. Like, it doesn't have to be that way. Like, I mean, I get there are some jobs that are just never probably going to pay a decent wage, but it doesn't take them out of the market. Like, someone still has to do those jobs. And right now we're experiencing a huge labor shortage. Now, whether that is actually true labor shortage or a perceived labor shortage is to be determined, because I am not quite sure I believe it. So I know that probably some jobs are struggling. I mean, if you have a terrible job with terrible hours and pay, no one's gonna go work for you. Why would you go work for someone like that? You know, maybe raise your wages, be more competitive, offer flexibility or something like that. I don't know, you know. So I just think it's kind of funny though that a lot of people who were always like bashing the people in these perceived, you know, lower, lesser than jobs, now they're like complaining, because they used to tell people like, you need to just go and get a better job. You need to go and educate yourself and become a brain surgeon so then you can afford to live in America and afford healthcare and things like that. You need to just go and do something else. They were always preaching that, even though that job wasn't going to ever disappear. Just because someone elevates himself and finds maybe a better job, or becomes highly educated and finds some very skilled job, that job that they were in doesn't disappear. It doesn't just like not need filling. It doesn't need someone that actually needs to go in there and do those things. No, what happens is someone else replaces them. And usually it's someone who is pretty decently skilled and older. They have adult bills to pay. And that's the issue that I'm having here, is that whole mentality of you need to go just find something better. But then when a lot of people supposedly went off and did that, now there's like a huge complaint. I mean, it's a huge issue that people cannot get help when they go to a retail location or some kind of like service. It's just blowing their minds that they're having to wait, or there needs to be appointment only because they're so short staffed, or they can't get their little $3 burger. Like, they just hate this. Well, you know what? Those people are doing what you told them to do for a very long time. But I also think that on the other side of the coin, we probably are having people who are not necessarily applying to those jobs because those jobs are shitty. Who wants them? Nobody. So another thing that I am seeing though is that these companies, they put out this hiring sign and they actually don't really interview or hire anyone. It's almost like it's a decoy ploy that they're putting out there. So feel sorry for me. It's not my problem. You waiting, don't be mad at me. Like, it's not me. It's them. It's the people who are refusing to work. I have no issues. I'm not trying to keep my, stores short-staffed so that we can save on labor costs under these bare bones, staffing, and the employees have to work 5 jobs for the price of 1. No, it's not that. It's them. But you know what? The weird thing is happening is people are applying to those jobs. They're not getting interviewed and they're not getting hired. Why is that? Something to contemplate and think on, because I don't like to always take things for face value. I like to actually delve and dive into them, into why is this phenomenon happening? What is actually truly happening behind the curtain? What's going on? I doubt it's short staffing. I doubt that that's the issue. It's not because people are not wanting to work. I'm gonna say that's probably one side of the coin, but the other side of the coin is someone said that as long as you act like you are short staffed, you don't have to start paying back the PPP loans. Let me know in the comments down below if that is true, because that right there reveals why all these corporations, every single one of them has a hiring sign, but none of them seem to ever be actually hiring. Weird. So yeah, that's my video for today, and let me know in the comments down below your thoughts and ideas on everything that I've been talking about. And before you comment on these types of things, if you don't know the issues or if you haven't done your research, go do that first, then come back and let's have an actual discussion. I'll see all of you in the next video.